Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are here for another match of the Hamilton Sevens and a little bit of a trans-Tasman rivalry. It's going to be happening for this contest. New Zealand taking on Australia. Currently, New Zealand, they were able to win their first game. Australia, they had a little bit more of a trouble up against Great Britain, but they were able to get the job done in the end. Looking through at the starting lineup for New Zealand, they will be as follows. Regan Ware, Sione Molia, Akulia Rokalisoa, Dylan Collier, Sam Dixon, Joe Webber, and also Leroy Carter. Then for the Australians, Henry Hutchison, Nathan Lawson, Henry Patterson, Maurice Longbottom, Josh Turner, Dietrich Roach, and James Turner, the last man in that starting lineup. Currently, there is a game going on between USA and Ireland. It's sitting 14 points to all. 14 to 14 at the moment, I should say, for that fixture. So they might run for a little bit longer while the two sides tire each other out, but then we are straight into this Trans-Tasman matchup, which is going to be absolutely awesome. See who is able to get the better of it. But currently, momentum-wise, you'd say on home soil, New Zealand should have a little bit of an advantage here, but Australia is such a tough side when they get going. Ireland still looking for that last-minute try in their game up against the USA, and it's important to note whoever is top two in this group, between Ireland, USA, etc., they will actually be going head-to-head with the top two of New Zealand and Australia's pool. And also alongside there, we've got Great Britain. I believe they drew with Tonga, if I'm not wrong, if I saw that score correct. Currently, is that going to be time off? Yes, it is. Okay, this game's going to run a little bit longer than we first anticipated. It seems like neither side want to kick that ball out, and they just want to keep on going and going and going. So I guess this is a perfect opportunity to say anyone who does enjoy a bit of gaming / a little bit of weird random vlog content, be sure to check out the Kiwi Lads Entertainment channel. It is our second channel, and here is a link for the latest video that has just gone up on that channel. We decided to play Guess Who in a dark park. It's exactly what it sounds like, and it's a weird one, but be sure check that out if you do want to see some more of the Kiwi Lads. And hello, says Ed Vogel. Welcome in, mate. Hope you're doing very well. Hope you're excited for this matchup. Currently still waiting for Ireland versus USA to finish. But as soon as it does, we'll be straight into the action. Just looking through at the benches before we get into this match, though. You got Trey Williams for the Australians, Tim Clements, Dally Bird, a few new names for the Australians, or slightly less experienced players off that bench. So I think they've really thrown all their eggs in the basket of that starting lineup. Whereas New Zealand, they've got McGarvey Black, Roderick Solo did score himself a try in the last match. Ireland's just kicked that ball into touch, so they'll take the draw, 14 points to 14. They don't want to risk a loss. So 14 points to 14. I believe that's the second draw that we've seen of the day so far. I'm not sure where Nick Maloof is right now. Yeah, he's a big player to have missing for the Australians. I'm just trying to think through their last lineup. Corey Toole, another player that they haven't got for this league. I believe Corey Toole's injury, though, isn't he? Not sure if Nick Maloof is also injury-based or not. But yeah, this game, it was going to be kicking off at 2:06. It should be kicking off at about 2:10 at this rate, so we're only 1 minute away from it getting underway. But a few young players for the Kiwis. I think Moses Leo off the bench would be quite a handy aspect or prospect if they do decide to use him throughout this fixture as well. But New Zealand, they're ranked third. Australia, they're ranked sixth on the World Sevens circuit. Australia right up the top last year, but now have got themselves a new rebuilding stage, I guess you could call it. But they both make their way out there, and the crowd erupt at FMG Stadium. She's starting to fill up quite nicely, and the sun is out in Hamilton, which is absolutely brilliant to see that the weather's turned it up for the first day of the Sevens. I haven't seen what the weather's supposed to do tomorrow in Hamilton. I hope it's nice. If it's not, might not be as fun for the players being out there on the field. In fact, while we are at it, while these two players, the two sides, are getting organised, we'll go weather. We'll go Hamilton. There we go. And 26 degrees today. Tomorrow it's supposed to be relatively similar with a high of 25. So that is great news. It's going to be quite nice. And been watching Australian Open in a couple of days, says Ed in there as well. I haven't actually watched any of the Australian Open yet. I probably should give it a bit of a look. I've played tennis recently. I ran into a concrete wall. Not ideal. It's going to be kicked off high by Corey Toole. Picture perfect. Oh, big shot there, though. Who was that? Was that Rockley? So I didn't realize that man could put in big hits. Normally he just takes them. But now Joe Weber, oh, voice going away already. Nice pass on the outside for NZ. Regan Ware back across to Weber. A lot of experience for the Kiwis in this matchup. Now Rockley Soa tried to find the offload to Leroy Carter. Wasn't able to do so. Sam Dixon now going back across. Sling and pass again. Another big step from Dylan Collier. It's great to see him in the New Zealand side. Brings a lot of experience. One of the remaining of the slightly more veterans in New Zealand's lineup. You know, they've lost Scott Curry, sorry, rather than Tom. They've lost Scott. They've lost Tim Mickelson. Still going, Dylan Collier. Nice run forward from Leroy Carter. The scoreboard not updating yet, but I'm sure it will soon. Rockley Soa now with a minute gone in this matchup. Ball on the outside. Collier goes to Weber. Going to be back in his pace, although Patterson's been able to line him up nicely and actually makes 2 tackles in the process. Now Collier once again skips around the back of the referee. Leroy Carter, he came off the bench in the last game, gets himself an opportunistic start in this one. Back across to Carter again. Have a bit of time with Bay of Plenty in the Bunnings NBC not too long ago. Collier again back across. Another one, Sam Dixon. Goes to Rockley Soa. In fact, it's Regan Ware this time. Tries to go to Joe Weber, but it's going back for another penalty. And the scoreboard's woken up. Or has it? It isn't flashing, which makes me think that it hasn't. We'll see whether or not it keeps updating. New Zealand, they will get themselves that penalty about 22 metres out from the line. Maurice Longbottom looking exhausted after the way that this one has started. Right, quick tap taken by the Kiwis. Rockley Soa going back across. Weber with the short pass to Sam Dixon, who's a unit of a man, and he gives it off to Weber, who's in for the try. And an important one for the Kiwis, but they get in early up against the Australians. We haven't seen an Australian attack yet, which I think is what the Kiwis will have to watch out for. But another player I've realised missing here, Kurt Baker, not in the side for this match. So New Zealand may be starting to take that advice that a lot of people were giving for quite some time, which was try out some younger players, see if they go all right. And at the moment, they're going all right. Of course, it's still very early on in the Sevens, so it's hard to tell, but they're looking not too bad at the moment. That one is successful for the Kiwis. A few people with Joe Weber faces in the crowd on a stick. I have Ian Foster on a stick, but not here, seeing as we are at our other setup, or our new setup for now, I should say. Might have to give you guys a tour at some point. Looks a bit different. Going to be kicked high. Waiting for that one to come down well. Hit back by Henry Patterson. And now Dietrich Roach carves up. Almost through the gap, but great tackle made by Sam Dixon. Now once again, back across again. Turner close to the touchline. James Turner, he's lost the ball forward. And jumping on that one long bottom, and now they will have themselves the scrum again. New Zealand currently with a 7-point lead over the Australians. A lot of bragging rights on the line here because these two sides they'll be facing off in Sydney could even be in the same group, depending on how the polls do end up closing. Weber, he's doing pretty well. He's got a reasonably normal haircut this time. Last year he went through a phase, decided to shave the head, leave the dreads at the back. I believe he's also had a bald face, if I'm not wrong, for Joe Weber, a little bit of everything. Now the passes, New Zealand, they've made 23 compared to the 2 made by the Australians. So you can see why New Zealand have got that lead. But it just still makes me cautious knowing that Australia are yet to have a decent crack. Regan Ware finds the offload to Weber again. Goes across to Dixon. One more back into the hands of Sione Mulia, who's been out there on the field the whole time, but we haven't actually really seen him. Collier now once again receives that pass. Goes to the right-hand side. Sam Dixon now trying to break through the line, unable to do so. Good defense from Australia. They win the turnover. Here we go. This is their first chance. Hutchinson takes the quick tap, gives it off to Longbottom, running hard at the line, straight through. And Australia score themselves their first try of the contest. And it shows just how dangerous they can be. They need one chance and they're in. Brilliantly done by the Australians there. I see my scoreboard doesn't want to play the game today, though. I'm noticing it's not updating. It's just kind of chilling at the moment. But very nicely done by Maurice Longbottom. Bottom to break the tackle of Sione Molia, man who I mentioned we hadn't really seen. Unfortunately, we saw him there. He missed it. And thoughts on Jones coaching Wallabies this year? I love Uncle Dave. Big thanks, Dave, says Ed. And yeah, it's an interesting one with Jones because if Australia do well at the World Cup, he's a hero. If Australia do badly at the World Cup, the reasonable people will go, he didn't have enough time to make his mark. But other people will be like, oh, no, he sucks. Get rid of him. So it's going to be interesting. And apparently there's an assistant coach role there. And I mentioned earlier on how interesting it would be if it was either Dave Rennie or Scott Robinson who ended up as his assistant. But I don't see that happening. You never know. How in Australia, says Viniana, and Aussie playing well, says John. They are. They're defending well. Their attack looks even stronger. We just haven't seen much of it throughout this match as of yet. Now, Sione Molia, another tackle made by James Turner. Weber goes across to Carter. One more. Wide pass from Regan Weir out to Collier on the wing. Trying to step. Good tackle made again by Nathan Lawson. Penalty for not rolling away. Unfortunate for him, but it was because Dietrich Roach actually went and tried to get the turnover that he did end up getting himself told off. 15 seconds left in this first half. New Zealand looking for one last crack. I think they've been told to hurry up. So they wait another 5 seconds and then go. Rokalisoa goes across to Weber. Passes back to Leroy Carter. Seems quite structured from New Zealand. Not a lot of unorthodoxness in their back line, which I think is what's costing them just a little bit. Sione Molia gets back up, goes again. He's just going to keep on going until Australia tie those legs together. Now Sam Dixon, inside ball from Regan Weir. Oh, that looked high. They looked very high. Right round the chin. They're asking for the penalty. It's going to be Sam Dixon. Round the side, goes back to Josh Turner. Now, I would say that this should have been a penalty for New Zealand, but now Josh Turner will be able to have the counter attack for New Zealand, or sorry, for Australia. And now it will be down the wing. James Turner scores. Controversy in Hamilton. Nah, it was high, but they decided to play on. I guess they said New Zealand had the advantage, maybe. I don't know. And also 12-7 for the Aussies, says John there. Yeah, very nicely done. They could also say maybe he was ducking into it slightly. I think is the only other thing I can think of why it wasn't a high tackle. But James Turner down the wing, plenty of pace. You want to make sure you put in sunscreen on the top of the head, though. That could get burnt pretty easily. Yeah, with the New Zealand sun, that kick is unsuccessful. So that'll make the score at halftime 12 points to 7 in favour of Australia. I should mention the next live stream that we have got coming up on the channel. It will be the one between Fiji and New Zealand. We haven't got it scheduled yet. I actually completely forgot about that game. But it was the women's game, I should mention. That one will be. So that will be coming up. One moment. We'll tick a few boxes. We've done that one, that one, that one, that one. And we're doing that one. So yeah, 3:12 p.m. is when that matchup between New Zealand and Fiji starts. Then we've got a game at 3:44 between South Africa and Argentina. 4:06, we're covering Samoa versus Fiji. And then the last game of the day that we're covering is Fiji versus Papua New Guinea. That is at 6:37 p.m. And Longbottom started his career playing for South in the NRL. Interesting. Do you know what position he was, Ed? He probably, in my brain, he's probably a 6 or a 7? No, not too sure. And New Zealand need to step it up in the second half, says John. And you might have to put the number that he was, Ed, just because my brain, when I hear NRL positions, I normally end up forgetting. Viniana has said Australia there. Yeah, good start to the match, turning 12 points to 7. Even though New Zealand have had a majority of the possession throughout that first half, Australia have taken their chances and they've done very nicely with them, turning them into points. Very nicely done again. Currently, looking at the benches, Narohi Mugabe Black, massive game changer here for New Zealand. The second half just about to get underway, though, so we'll see how much of an impact he can have. And also, I'd say Shay Clark and Moses Leo, those young guys, get the legs pumping. Australia, they've got plenty of pace out on that wing, as we saw from James Turner. Nicely taken inside of the 22 by Australia. Penalty goes straight away to New Zealand. That's probably the quickest penalty we've seen of a half, unless it is for not kicking at the 10 metres. I'm looking forward to Memphis Grizzlies versus LA Lakers today at 4 p.m. New Zealand time. Hopefully 12 straight wins in a row for Memphis. Gee, that's impressive for the Grizzlies. How'd they go last season, John? I swear they weren't bad, but they weren't on a streak like they are now, were they? Just talking to Simon Kennewell, number 13 for the Australians. Might get a crack at some stage throughout the Sevens circuit if he's lucky. Now, currently, we've got a stoppage at the start of the second half. I think it might be an HIA, in fact. So they will go upstairs for this one. I think by the looks of Adam Leal. Is he going to go upstairs or he is just going to say play on? Because this will be an interesting one. Because if he goes upstairs for this, no, he doesn't. Okay, I was going to say if he went upstairs for this, maybe would New Zealand have been better off staying down for that last one? I don't think that's in their mindset though. They lost second round of the playoffs versus the champion Golden State Warriors, says John there. Oh, a little bit of an early push. Too keen from Henry Hutchinson in the middle there. But Rockali So in New Zealand in a very good position. 25 metres out. Currently out wide. I see Roderick Solo sitting down. I don't know if that's meaning he's going to be out relatively soon or whether he's waiting a little bit longer. Now, Rockali Soa goes off to the short side. Sam Dixon cut out pass. Good step on the inside from Sione Mulia. Tried to go inside, then outside. Taken down 10 metres from the line. New Zealand in a really, really good attacking position here. Middle of the field. Joe Webber considered the offload. He does find it in the end to Rockali Soa. They're not going to catch him. He's through. And he scores the try for New Zealand, making the score 12-all between these two sides. Still with a kick to come. Simon was a terrific player back in his early career. Too bad for so many injuries last fight for Australia in 2019, says Ed. As well, because they were mentioning he's playing a little bit of union at the moment. So I'm not too sure whether or not that's Super Rugby level. Who does he play for? If he plays for Super Rugby, I want to say that he's part of the Rebels, but I can't quite remember. Yeah, New Zealand, says David. Rockali Soa gets the Kiwis in the lead. They are now sitting 14 points to 12 ahead. That's more like it, New Zealand. Gone over, 5 minutes left in the half. New Zealand 14 points to 12. Now, normally this game would all but be over if we did start at the regular time, but they were a little bit later starting. That is due to the draw between USA and Ireland, which was probably a draw not too many people were expecting to be seen. Although we knew it would be relatively close, just maybe not the draw. It seemed like Ireland were going to go for the win and then just decided to take the tap, kick it into touch and say, we'll take the draw, thanks. Hutchison now. Back across, Williams. It's Trey Williams, number 22, Maurice Longbottom. He'll back his pace, but I think Rockali Soa, he's got him caught all day. But can they catch Henry Patterson? When he starts striding, they cannot. Great pace from the big man. And he scored the try. I think he's done some damage. Is he? No, he's going to be all right. Got a mustache, he's tough. And Henry Patterson gets through, scores the try. Australia take their lead back. There's a lot of reason Memphis lost was because Ja Morant was injured in that second round series, says John as well. But that is massive from the big man, Henry Patterson. There's something so satisfying about a big man running fast. And Patterson outpacing two Kiwis with that beautiful run. In Australia now taking the lead. They'll get the conversion over as well, 19 points to 14 in this contest up against New Zealand. At the moment, it seems like it's going to be New Zealand and Australia taking on Ireland and USA as two quarterfinal matches. Low Australia, says John there. At the moment, Still puffing hard, Patterson. He's really earned a break after this match, that's for sure. Although they're back in action at 7 o'clock tonight, so they get about 4 hours off, somewhere around there. Nicely taken by Narohi McGarvey Black, a man who I mentioned needed to have a good tournament. Back across again. Nice step from Sione Mulia. Around the side again. Big run forward here for the Kiwis. Almost caught, but the missed tackle from Trey Williams. The worst thing is he had the pace to be able to run with them. He just decided to attack him a bit too early, and Roderick Solo does get over for New Zealand, who now take their lead back again. And yes, Simon played for Club Rugby Sydney Uni. Lots of his mates started to sign with Super Rugby teams when the pandemic began. But due to his injury and lack of experience, he only played with Club Rugby, says Ed there. And 2 minutes left, says John. And New Zealand once again will have a chance to take the lead. It's 19 points to 19. They get the conversion over 21-19 now between the two sides. Now, the last 2 minutes of this game, I think, could be quite an intense little patch for both of these sides. Kick's gone over. Like I mentioned, so 21 points to 19. Only 100 seconds left in this game, and only 2 points split them. Someone's winning, someone's losing. I doubt the draw's on the cards, unlike USA versus Ireland. And also Tonga versus Great Britain, I believe, ended in a draw, which is a brilliant performance from the Tongans. Stacked high, nicely slapped back by New Zealand, but it is slightly wonky, goes into touch. Now, not long left in this one. Australia, like they've said, if they're accurate, they don't need to rush it. Just get your plays right. Tonga's sitting on 4 points. They beat Great Britain, Tonga. I didn't realize they scored a last-minute try in that contest. So that is absolutely massive for the Tongans. They would have been huge underdogs going into that game. Now 50 seconds left. Kicked him behind. It's a foot race. It looks like Trey Williams is going to win the foot race, but he's knocked it on. That is brilliant work from Shay Clark to just be able to get in there. And the crowd are going absolutely mad at the moment. Australia have not topped their poll in the 2023 World Series after doing so 5 times last season. Is a stat that's just popped up. There was amazing chase in the defense, crazy good. Yeah, the fact that he was just able to grab him in time. And the thing is, if he got the timing wrong, yeah, so Australia trying to say that he might have tackled him without the ball, but it was just timed. Luckily for him. And Hiki Hamish will get them on the try line, says Mark Roberts. New Zealand inside of their 22. They've got a 2-point lead. All they need is to win the scrum and kick this ball into touch, and they will be the victors of the Trans-Tasman matchup. Time's back on, but if Australia steal this one in the scrum, we've got an interesting 30 seconds or so. About to be put in by Rockalisa. New Zealand win, baby, says John there. Ball goes in. Ball comes out, and New Zealand kick it into touch. 21 points to 19. The Kiwis victorious over the Aussies. And that's going to be the last match that we cover for about an hour or so, or about 45 minutes, in fact, it is, ladies and gentlemen. So our next matchup, which is going to be Fiji taking on New Zealand in the women's matchup. Although we haven't got that scheduled yet, so we'll have to get that scheduled at some point in the near future. But thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. And we'll see you all for the next one.